I landed just after midnight, exhausted from a 4-day business trip that had gone better than expected. I had closed a deal my company had been chasing for months. My boss shook my hand, promised a promotion was coming, and I flew home feeling like life was finally turning in my favor. I didn't expect cheering or balloons when I got back, but I also didn't expect silence. No lights on. No car in the driveway. The house looked abandoned. I pulled my suitcase up the steps, used my key, and opened the door, only to freeze. The entryway was empty, completely empty. My shoes, my jackets, my backpack, everything that usually sat near the door, gone. I walked into my room, and my stomach dropped. My closet was stripped bare, drawers empty, bed frame exposed. Everything I owned was either missing or piled in trash bags scattered across the floor, like someone had hurriedly tossed my life into them without a second thought. Before I could even process it, I heard the front door open. My parents walked in, smiling like they had just returned from a relaxing night out. This story keeps unfolding in ways you won't expect. And the next part reveals everything they tried to hide. Please subscribe our channel, please. Oh, my mother said, completely unfazed. You're back early. Early? It was the exact day I told them I'd return. My father shrugged. Well, now that you're here, take your bags and go. We're done supporting your lifestyle. I stared at them, confused. What lifestyle? He pointed at the trash bags. Irresponsible, wasteful, never home, acting like this house is a hotel. My mother crossed her arms. We decided it's better if you live somewhere else. We threw out most of your clothes. They weren't worth keeping. My heart punched my ribs. Those clothes weren't cheap. They were the professional wardrobe I spent years building. They were part of my job, my life. I stepped outside, realizing with every breath that this wasn't a fight. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a decision they had made long before I walked through that door. They wanted me gone, and they didn't care how it shattered me. I stood there in the cold night air, suitcase in one hand, trash bag in the other, feeling like a stranger visiting the ruins of a life I thought I belonged to. But I didn't know then what they had set in motion would backfire so brutally that even they couldn't undo it. I slept in my car that night, parked behind an office building because it had cameras and felt safer than an empty lot. The whole time, I kept replaying their voices in my head, calm, casual, almost bored, as they told me to get out like I was some unwanted guest who had overstayed. I kept thinking there had to be a reason, something I had missed. But no matter how many angles I reviewed in my mind, nothing justified what they did. By sunrise, I dragged myself to the office bathroom to wash up. My eyes were tired, my clothes wrinkled from being crammed in a trash bag. I looked like someone who lost everything overnight. And technically, I had. Still, I walked into the office and went straight to work, because that was the only stable thing left in my life. Around noon, my boss called me into his office. He studied my face for a long moment. You look exhausted. Everything okay? I wanted to lie. Instead, everything poured out. The late return, the empty house, the trash bags, my parents kicking me out like it was something they planned. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he nodded slowly. Take the second floor guest office. It's private. Shower there, rest there if you need. And the promotion? It's official. HR will send the paperwork today. Your new salary starts immediately. I couldn't even speak. This man showed me more care in 5 minutes than my family had in years. He continued, we're also offering a relocation bonus if you want to move closer to work. No pressure. Relocation bonus. Salary bump. Private office. Shower. I walked out feeling like life hadn't abandoned me after all. People who valued me existed. It just wasn't the family I grew up with. That evening, after signing the new contract, I drove to a long-term hotel and paid for a room using my signing bonus. When I finally took a hot shower and put on clean clothes, I felt human again. For the first time in days, I slept in a bed. By the end of the week, I had a furnished one-bedroom apartment 10 minutes from work. Neutral colors, big windows, quiet, mine. Every morning I woke up in that little apartment, I felt stronger, sharper, detached from the chaos I used to call home. My parents never called to check on me. Not once. No text, no apology, nothing. And, strangely, that silence became fuel. I used the next 6 months to build everything I thought I'd have to fight for alone. A promotion to project lead, a reliable savings account, furniture I picked myself, new clothes, better ones than they threw away, a gym routine that finally stuck, a small circle of coworkers who became real friends. My life was stretching forward like it finally had space to grow. But the world is odd, because life likes to loop stories back to where they began. One evening, after wrapping up a major presentation, my boss told me we had a new client, a big one, a deal that could shift our entire quarter. When he said the client's name, the air left my lungs. My parents' company, the one my father ran, the one he always claimed I wasn't disciplined or smart enough to ever work with. I spent the next week preparing every detail of the pitch, not out of revenge, not out of anger, just out of pride. I wanted to stand there fully, without shaking, without shrinking, without apology. When the day of the meeting arrived, I walked into the conference room wearing a suit that actually fit, hair styled, posture steady. My team sat behind me, confident. My parents walked in with their board members. My mother's smile froze the moment she recognized me. My father blinked hard, as if reality had just cracked. I greeted them politely, professionally, as if they were any other client. My father cleared his throat. "You work here?" "I lead this project," I said. I could see the calculations spinning in their minds. How did I get here? How was I doing well? How was I standing in a place they believed I'd never reach? They had left me out in the cold. Now, I was the one deciding whether their company got the deal. The contrast wasn't just poetic. It was justice. And I hadn't even said the words, yet that would change everything. My father's confidence cracked first. "We'd be honored to partner with your firm," he said, trying to sound steady. My mother added a stiff smile, the kind she always used when pretending everything was fine. "We're proud of you, sweetie." Truly, the words rang hollow. They weren't proud. They were cornered. I presented the project with the same professionalism I give every client. Clear points, solid strategy, no anger, no emotion. Just the quiet certainty of someone who rebuilt their entire life from nothing. When it came time to discuss terms, I finally looked at them. "Our company only works with partners who understand stability and respect," I said. "Values that actually matter." A few board members nodded, unaware of the sting in my tone. My father straightened. "Of course." I closed the portfolio. "After reviewing the details, our team decided your company doesn't meet our criteria." My mother froze. My father's face drained of color. "You're rejecting us," he whispered. "I'm declining a contract." I said, "But you taught me something important. When people show you your worth doesn't matter, you stop fighting for a place at their table." I walked out calmly, feeling lighter with every step. They had thrown me out when they thought I was nothing. Now they watched me succeed without them.